All right. Midpoint. Again, we just did this on the warm-up. You are going to use midpoint formula. As I was walking around, a lot of y'all were rocking this. So remember, you need parentheses with the comma, and you're getting a point. You are going to add the x's, divide by 2. Add the y's, divide by 2. What are my x's here? -2 and 7. What are my y's here?
4 and 10.
4 and 10. And then you just need to put this into the calculator. All right. Do you see how I showed work? Please make sure you are showing work on this. So I'm going to do -2 plus 7 divided by 2. Arrow over and hit the comma. Then I'm going to divide again. 4 plus 10 divided by 2. And you can either click label. Oh, look, we can't even see it. You might have to zoom out. If you don't see it, definitely zoom out. And what is my answer? 2.5, comma 7. The next question says find the length. What does length mean? Distance. Length. Anytime I ask for the length of something, I'm asking how long it is, the distance. Remember, for distance formula, you're going to do the square root of squared plus the square root of squared. Perfect. Thank you. And what goes in the parentheses? The negatives. Oh, and then we have to do, I'm going to label these up here because I didn't last time. X1, Y1, X2, Y2. What's your second X?
7.
Minus, what's your first X? -2. What is your second Y?
10.
Minus your first Y. And then put that in the calculator. Do we get a pretty number or a decimal? Let's see. The square root of 7 minus 2, -2. 10 minus 4 squared. And again, you need to only go one decimal place. So 10.8 is all you needed to write down. You didn't need to write down any more than that. Are we feeling better about distance and midpoint formulas? All right. If I had to guess, I would say that is about 15 points on your test. Maybe more. Maybe 20. All right, next one. A center has a diameter with these endpoints. What are the coordinates of the center? What did we say center means? Center is midpoint. So to find the midpoint, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do this a little quicker just because we just did a problem like this. Add the x's divided by 2. Add the y's divided by 2. And I believe when you put this in the calculator, you get -1, 1 is what I saw when I was walking around. Is that what y'all got? Okay. Yeah, that's right. Okay. How long is the diameter? What is long asking for? Distance, the length. So again, I'm going to do distance formula. What is your second x? And your first x? -4. Don't forget that negative. What is your second y? And your first y? Again, I know I did that one pretty quick, but we just did distance formula. So this is just extra practice. Ooh. And I'm just going to go in and positive 2 minus negative 4 squared, negative 3 minus 5. What did y'all get? Did y'all get 10 for that one? Okay. It is 10. For this next question, on your test, I was even so nice as to say, hint, make a table. As a reminder, whenever I give you the midpoint and I give you one endpoint, you make a table, your midpoint needs to go in the middle. Your midpoint goes in the middle. And then the other endpoint can go up top. How do I get from negative 1 to 9? Well, it's negative 1. If it was positive 1, you'd do plus 8. But it's negative 1. It is plus 10. And so I'm going to do that again. If I add 10 again, what is 9 plus 10? 19. You're making a table and doing your carets. What about 0 to 3? How do I get from 0 to 3? So if I plus 3 again, so my answer is 619. If it tells you to hint, make a table, you put the midpoint in the middle. That's the biggest mistake I see people make. How do I find the midpoint on a graph? What am I going to do on this graph to find the midpoint? Make a triangle. Now, when I make this triangle, do you agree this goes 4 and this goes 8? Am I going to go up 4 over 8 to find the midpoint? No, what are you going to do? Why 2? Because it's halfway. So I'm going to go up 2. And then how much am I going to go over? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go up 2. And then I am going to go which way? Right 4. Go up 2, right 4. Because it says from A, I was starting at A. All right, actually, this right here was like 25 points on your test. Can I change this? All right. What is the coordinate of the midpoint of BD? B to D, or DB, is right here. How far is that from each other? How far?
4.
4. So what is going to be my midpoint? How far am I going to go for my midpoint? 1, 2. Oh, where do we end up at? We just happen to end up at 2. If C is the midpoint of BF, hey y'all, do you even see an F anywhere on here? No, that's what it wants to know. If C is in the middle of BF, how do I find out where F is?
It's going to be 10 because
I got to count. It's going to be 3, so I got to do what?
3 again.
3 again, and it is going to be at 10. You just have to count and then keep going that many. We have not done this question in a while. So let's remind you. Heads up. Marco, heads up. Marco. All right. What does the word converse mean? We haven't seen it in a hot minute. Switch. Everybody write that above it. Converse means switch. I'll remind you that on Monday. If two segments are congruent, then they have the same length. How do I switch that?
If they have the same length, they have to.
Perfect. If they have the same length, then two segments are congruent. All you need to know is that you need to switch for converse. What does this word right here mean? Bisects. What does bisects mean? Cuts in half. It creates a halfway point. So what can I add to this picture for AB? Because AB is the one being bisected. Ticks. Please add tick marks. Some of you can read all this and you're like, oh, this makes sense. Perfect. Let me just answer it. Others of you are like, I don't even know what this is meaning. If you're not sure with the letters, put numbers in its spot. I didn't give you any numbers, but you can make up any number you want. What do we want this to be?
5.
5 is my favorite. Why do I like 5? Because if this is 5, what's this? And then what is the whole thing? Now, instead of doing these letters, I can do numbers. What is AM? 5. What is MB? Are they equal? That's true. Do you see how making up the numbers there will help you see it better? What is A to B? A to B is 10. Does A to B equal 2 times what's A to M? 5. That's also true because 2 times 5 is 10. What's AM? Actually, oh, that's the only place. It equals half. What's AB? A to B? 10. It does 5 equal half of 10? Yeah, true. Again, do you see how putting numbers makes this just go through? What's AB? Y'all, I'm going to put a 10 everywhere I see AB. Just right off the bat. And what's MB? Is 10 bigger than 5? Yeah, true. What about this one? Is 10 bigger than 10? No, that's false. AB and BA are the same thing. One's not bigger than the other. Yeah, I just made up a number. You could put 3 there. You could put 8 there. This is just because some people have a hard time reading. Is AM half of 8? All the letters get confusing. But if I start putting numbers and you just start doing calculations, it gets easier. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all I was doing. If L is the midpoint of SE. If this is 7, what's this? 7, because it's the midpoint, they're the same. If P is the midpoint of ET, what do I now know? If this is 5, this is 5. What is ET? 10, because 5 plus 5 is 10. What about ST? How do we get 14? Oh, be careful. You're close. SE is 14. What is S all the way to T? 24. 24. How'd you get that? 14 plus 10 is 24. Add the whole thing. Midpoint means they're the same on both sides. Okay, this is going to be the 5th time you've seen this problem this week. If RP is 18, OP is 8, and O to E is 22, what do I do?
Adam.
Add them. All 3 of them?
Well,
Which ones am I going to add?
22 plus 8.
Not 8.
22 plus 18 minus 8.
22 plus 18. I'm going to add both of these. But why is that not my answer? Do you see how it overlaps right here? I got to get rid of one of them. How can I get rid of one of them? Minus 8. And what do I get? 32. Add the two together and then subtract that middle one is what you are going to do. Actually, there's like 5 different ways you could have done that. So that's just one of the ways. Somebody also told me, I just looked right here. If this is 8 and the whole thing's 18, what's this? 10. And they said, I added 10 plus 22. That works too. All right, I got 8 more minutes. Can you turn over? We're going to do the back at 8 minutes. You can actually cross out number 11. We took that question off the test. Okay. Question 12. What is my key word on question 12? Midpoint. When I see that word, what can I do? Ticks. Tick mark and tick mark right off the bat. That's 1 point on your test. And then you need to label the picture. OD, which is right here, is 7x minus 6. OG is 6x plus 14. What's up? Oh, it's okay. Oh, on the wrong one. It's okay. Just write over it. You're fine. And what do I know about these because it's midpoint?
You have to make an equal sign between them.
I can put an equal sign between them. Because it's midpoint, I can put an equal sign. And so then now we're just going to solve. Most of you guys have been doing really good at solving this week. Those of you that are still a little bit confused, I need you to ask yourself these 4 questions. Number 1, well, first draw your line. Number 1, what do you notice about my x's?
There's 2 X.
There's 2 x's where?
On the side.
Okay, when x's are on opposite sides, what do we do? Subtract. So ask yourself, what do you notice? And then whenever you notice, oh, they're on opposite sides, you need to remember, I gotta subtract. 7x minus 6x is, and then bring down the other stuff. Now this is just a side chick problem. 2-step equation. Now you need to ask yourself, what do I got to do to get x by itself?
Plus 6.
I got to get rid of my side chick. I got to do the opposite. Add 6. And what you do to one side?
The other.
No matter what type of equation it is, if you ask yourself these questions, you will. And then what's 14 plus 6? Is x by itself? If there's only one of them, that means it's by itself. I'm done. You could divide by 1, but you'll just get the same answer. So x is 20. I need everybody to look up. Look up. Make sure you are answering my question. So many of you are like, okay, x is 20. It's asking for DG. Let me plug it in. You are going to plug this x right here. So you're going to do 7 times 20 minus 6. What is 7 times 20 minus 6? 134. Is it okay to have that big of a number?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty big. We don't usually have that big, but it's okay. You're plugging in. That is not my answer. Why is 134 not going to go in the blank? It wants DG. It wants this whole thing. So what do I do?
Do the other.
Do it to the other. 6 times 20 plus 14. Now, because this is midpoint, what should happen right here? If they're not the same number, what does that mean? You did something wrong. You might want to raise your hand and just be like, do you see my mistake? And I'll be like, yeah, you got the wrong equation. And I'm going to walk away. Or I might be like, why did you minus 6? And I'll walk away. Okay. So just that. We did get 134 again. Again, is that my answer?
No.
Nope. What's my answer?
258.
134 plus 134 is 268. Last one. Oop, the bell's gonna ring in 5 minutes. So, no. Y'all don't get up. I'm gonna do this in 2. Last one. Keyword says between. Whenever we see between, what does that mean?
Plus
We're adding in the middle. We're doing my left plus my right equals
23.
the whole. Left plus right equals the whole. Now, again, what do you notice? What do you see?
2 X's.
2 X's that are on the...
Same side.
So what do I do when they're on the same side?
5.
Add. And because of time, I'm just going to go through and do this. Get rid of your side chick. And what is my last step here? Divide. What's 24 divided by 6? And then it just wants you to plug into the 2. What is 4 times 4? What's 2 times 4?
11.
No, 2 times 4
That's 8.
minus 1. And is 16 plus 7, 23? Yep. Okay. You are going to have some scaffolding questions that were on your last test. So that's what these last questions are. Real quick, just give me a minute. It says draw a picture of congruent segments. Just remember, congruent segments mean they're the same. They'll have tick marks. Draw a picture of JV intersecting plane H. If you see a picture of a plane, that's a flat surface, and then it becomes a dotted line. If it goes dotted, that means it's intersecting. That means it's going through it. If you don't need to draw these, just know what they look like. You can draw them if you want. Draw a picture of J and K on line G. Here's line G with J and K, but not L. L is not on my line. And then draw a picture of TS on plane B, but not Q. Q's chilling out here, but TS is on the plane. Last but not least, real quick. If these are congruent, RP is going to be congruent to OE. How can I make an equation here? If they're congruent, that means they're equal. 3x plus 5 plus 8 equals 8 plus x minus 4. Y'all look up real quick. Do y'all see how they both have 8s? They cancel. 3x plus 5 equals x minus 4. Write that down real quick, then you can get your stuff. Please look at this before you walk in or when you're sitting in here waiting or when you're in the car on the way to school on Monday. Don't leave this here. Take it home. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. Behave, be safe, and I will see you on Monday.